chiba chive. You only live once. Come on, mbaya.
What's the worst that can happen?
Those statements normally follow very serious decisions.
Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Heartbeats and Hope. It is 2026. How are you? How was January? I hope you enjoyed it. I personally did. We are very privileged as usual to have you here. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for those of you who came from 2025 till now, 2 years down the road, and you're still with us. And if it is your first time to be here with us, we are very privileged to have you. This is your go-to podcast of every month, and we are happy that you're here with us. We are glad. Those of you have been liking, those of you have been sharing, subscribing, commenting, supporting in all the ways that you have. We are very happy that you have been with us up to this moment. Those of you that have been supporting us in any way possible, those that have been liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, reaching out to us in our inboxes, thank you very much. It means so much to us. And here we are once again, like we promised. This is 2026 and we are going to get bigger and better every other time. So thank you for the January podcast. Many of you have come up with very many questions, very many responses. And today we are going to continue with the conversation that we started last time. Definitely, this is the beginning of a year, so yeah, we are all like in our sober senses of we have to make life this year. We have to do a lot. So many of you have been asking, okay, so I've written New Year resolutions. How do I actually achieve them? And I remember in last month's podcast, for those of you that haven't caught it, we were talking about New Year resolutions and how to ensure that when we write in December and we come back to review, we actually realize that we have either fully achieved the resolutions we wrote down, or at least started on them, or have a clear reason why we didn't work on them. Because yeah, some things like we had discussed are season bound, time bound, financial, and all that, etc. So today, from the most prevalent question that we got after last month's podcast, we are going to be talking about how to ensure that we come from just a plan to a vision, or how to start in easy ways, or what causes people to either start or not start. Because this year, like we agreed last month, we are starting, baby. We are going to do things. We are starting that business. We are marrying that girl. We are doing this. And I am very privileged today not to be alone. I have a visitor with me, and a very special one at that. I am going to request him to introduce himself first, because, yeah, some culture things may not allow me to even say his name. That's a joke. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mercy. I'm very happy to be here. Heartbeats, boom, boom, and hope. Well, I didn't know I hadn't really put my mind into the actual name of Heartbeats and Hope. It's actually a very deep name. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Luswata Brandon Cornelius. I'm happily married. Just so that I can go back home, I have to announce that. I'm happily married and with a child. Shout out to him. I think maybe he might be watching this a bit later.
Better shout out to who you're married to, otherwise.
Oh, yes. For the sake of me going back home, I'm married to Kerry Runji Shivan. She is an architect, civil engineer, and works somewhere there in Kampala. I'm married for 2 years and some months. Yeah, thank you, Mercy, for having me here. And I'm very privileged to be a part of this whole hula baloo of trying to find out when to start, where to start, how to start. I don't know if I should start. Must I start? But all that, I hope at the end of this podcast, we're going to be able to understand better or have an idea of what actually starting is. Starting might mean so many things, but I think after this podcast, I believe if I share with you my story and some of the things that maybe I have done along the way that I wish I had done better, I feel like someone out there is going to know at what point they are with their dream, with their passion, with their objectives, with their goals, end of year goals. Yeah, that's basically it. But have you written your own New Year resolutions?
I have.
Okay.
I've actually started achieving some already.
I don't like that smile.
Did not like about the smile.
There's something fishy about it. But
No,
I know like many people out there, they will have the smile like you have. So
yes.
we're here to get deeper, and maybe some people will get back to rewriting their resolutions after this podcast. And that is why I actually accepted to take on this podcast, because I was about 20 years old that I wish someone could have spoken to me through a podcast like this. And I think I would have reached where I wanted to reach much faster or better, or in a much better way. But anyway, God's timing, and such is life. Yeah, thank you.
I'm very humbled to host you, Mr. Brandon Cornelius Luswata. With all it takes, with all the self-control that I have, I will stop there on those names. Because Mr. Brandon happens to be the brother to my husband, and I love my marriage.
Please.
After this podcast, I might be back home, so we will not add any other names. But I am very privileged to host you today, because I might have, through another set of eyes, watched your journey before I met you, but also after I met you. And I believe that you have a lot that you can help someone out there. Now, before we get into it, someone might be wondering, okay, what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, like those African parents who be like, abazire bawe nibahi nobakola ki n'olugankahi. So, well, just a brief about myself, no specifics though, but I give you my name. I am currently a flight operations engineer. Flight operations engineer. I don't know if I should explain that, but I have challenges explaining it to very many people all the time. I have to say, now we do this, we do that, but sometimes it's just gibberish. But I think along the podcast we'll get there. And
so you help airplanes take off.
All right. Let's put it this way. This is yet another time I'm going to try.
The good thing about this is that it is timeless. Now, the next time someone asks you
you're right,
to explain, you would just send them a link. Yeah.
All right. Let me be careful, because my boss could be watching this, and the entire department is at the mercy of heartbeats. Now, flight operations engineering, literally what we do, we plan for the plane's performance. We incorporate the plane's performance into how actually the plane performs. We assess how the plane performs in terms of speed, how fast it goes, how much fuel it consumes, how heavy it needs to be within the air so that it can consume a certain amount of fuel. There's so much calculations that we do to ensure and emphasize the safety of the aeroplane in whatever environment it's operating. If you're going to go to an airport, for example, we're going to do the airport analysis, confirm the highest temperatures at that airport, the lowest temperatures, and be sure that the aircraft can perform in that environment before we actually send it there. So we do the background before the actual operations begin, before the actual flight takes place. And we hand this over to the pilots and the flight dispatchers. The systems that they use will make sure they're calibrated as they're expected to, as per the performance of the plane. So in there's a lot of mathematics, physics, a bit of chemistry, literally a lot of science.
In short, you're the guys who make sure we fly safely.
along with many other
People.
hardworking
But
brothers
like
and
you're the
sisters.
guys who say this machine is okay, this airport is okay.
Along with many other people.
Okay, mwacheng.
Yes.
Ninkebyo.
Nkebyo.
But okay, that's amazing. Now I would like, because I have the first time I met Mr. Brandon was when he was a teacher at my high school. Shout outs to Mary Hill girls who liked Teacher Brandon quite much.
I have a ring.
But in no way related to any of that. You were very good. I mean, you were friendly.
Okay.
You were very friendly. And
say
also
so.
you were a Christian, so it was easy for us, very born again people, to, reach out.
Okay.
So there is a category of people that always plans. If you ask them, yeah, they want to be pilots. They want to probably own an airport, but they never really start. And then there are those who just plan. And usually we have a meetup with friends every beginning of the year, and we are saying, this year I'm going to do this year I'm going to do this. So there are people who will always tell you, this year I'm going to start this. And in May, you actually see them start. You're like, I still have my plans. So what separates the people who plan and never start from those who actually plan and get into real steps to get and to start on what they want to do?
All right.
Like, is it a character? Are there some people who are born to work and others are born to dream?
Well, a lot of what we are and a lot of what we do is dependent on how we were raised and the likes. But let me tell you this, there should never be a time when one can use it as an excuse to say, I was raised like this, ever since I was a child, I was born like this. No. If you want something, there's never an excuse of this is how you are born and raised. You have the brain to understand, to change what you want to change. Now, I will answer your question in two parts. The first one, because they might contradict one another. The first one and the second one. The first one is, when you plan, it is important to calculate and see the end of your plan. To see how your plan is going to look like, or what you picture yourself to be, and then work backwards. If working backwards gets you to change your lifestyle, then so be it. If, for example, I want to buy a car by the end of the year, I must know how much the car costs. I must look at the kind of car I want to build and then work backwards. It is very important to break down a big plan in small pieces. If you want to buy a car by 2037, you know how much time you have between now and 2037. You know how many months there are between now and 2037. And you know how much money you're going to have to put aside every month. Some people might not work along the clockwork of a month. Some people might work along businesses or deals. I'm going to get this deal, and so on and so forth. But it's very, very important to have a plan. You might not know tomorrow, but you must have a plan. Even if sometimes the deal can come with a certain amount of money, the other one comes with a different amount of money. But have a threshold where you're going to say, for every deal I'm going to work with, 20% of the savings from that deal will go to the buying of my car. I expect I'm going to work towards getting 20 deals of this kind of match, and that is my target. So as you're working towards the car, you're working towards the 20 deals. If you're selling flowers, and each bouquet, depending on which school you went to, but each bouquet.
Might we add the school you went to? But
well, since I went to entire school, it will be bouquet. But for some people, depending on the school they went to, it can be bouquet or bucket, whichever. But anyway, you're selling on Valentine's. You know how many Valentines are there. And for example, if your husband, Bruce Mugela, buys you a bouquet every month, yes, can be every month, but you're almost certain that at least a bouquet will come on Valentine's, right? So there's this person who sells flowers and is going to make sure he can count how many Valentine's Day. He knows Valentine's for certain will pass. He knows that he will make these kind of amounts of sales. So he can set the targets for how many Valentines he's going to have within the next 5 years. And it is for certain that every year there's going to be a Valentine's Day. There's this flower seller. And every Valentine's, he's assured of those amounts of sales. So he can cut down his percentages and say, every year I am going to be taking off my sales for Valentine's to get the amount that I need for the car. So making a plan doesn't necessarily mean throwing a huge chunk of idea and you throw it there and you expect that at the end of a certain period of time, you're going to get that lump sum. You have to break down that idea into pieces.
So what you're saying is that someone probably wrote a New Year resolution that says, I want to buy a car. And it's just that.
Yes.
And they don't have plans on how they will get a car, when they will get a car, what that car will look like. And so at the end of the day, it just remains a blurry idea.
Yeah. That exactly happens. I have lived a life where I have those. And sometimes, actually, no, I no longer have those kinds of resolutions where I said I'm going to buy a car, probably don't buy it. No. Right now, it is because I know better. And that is why I'm speaking out to many people that probably are in that situation where they would like to see themselves somewhere and they can't get there because they're just saying, I need to buy a car at the end of the year, and the year passes and they have seen no car and everything. FYI, I'm not going to send millions of money to each one of you. I'm not saying that, yeah, you buy the car, hey, you're going to drive at the end of the year. I'm not like one of those pastors going to say, this year, you're going from local to international. No, my friend, you will remain local at the end of the year if you don't do certain things, if you don't actually picture certain things out.
You don't take some principles.
Yeah, if you don't take some principles in place, and also if you don't calculate. Everything is about calculation. How much money gets into your pocket is important to be calculated. It is important to project. Those projections are what culminate into the year resolution, the 2-year resolution that you have, the 5-year resolution that you have. So it's important to sit down and plan, and your plan has to be able to revolve. Your plan has to be revolving. You cannot set your plan and say, okay, in the next 12 months to get this car, I need to save about 200,000 a month. But this month you failed to save 200,000. So you're going to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, 100,000 divided by the 11 remaining months, it is this much, about 9,000. I'm going to now save 9,000 on top of the remaining months. 290,000, something like that.
So you're going to add some small portion to what you wanted to, because you missed a month.
Yes.
Okay.
And the calculation and the replanning has to go on until you actually get the car. It has to go on until you actually get the car. And you have to be on the drawing board full time.
Oh, that's very insightful.
Yeah. So that's the first one. The second one, I will tell you a story of when I was in Nairobi. When I was working, I had a colleague that used to organize charters and things like that. He used to, if you wanted to fly from one point to another, he would just talk to him. He gets a plane from here and there. So one prominent billionaire used to fly from Nairobi to Juba every 2 weeks with a family or something like that. So he was assured of 7 passengers every 2 weeks. So one day the billionaire asked him and said, hey, I do this every 2 weeks. You take the plane, it comes back empty. When you're coming to pick me, it comes empty. And why don't you do something out of it? Why don't you know for a fact that I've booked for the rest of the year. So why don't you do something about it? So my colleague spent a whole probably 1 hour explaining to him, I can't get a plane because I need to get an air operator certificate. And when I get that, I need to demonstrate this. He listed down a number of items. And the billionaire told him, you see, the devil lies in the details. The devil lies in the details. In the details there, you will have 1,001 reasons why you can't do it. But all you need is just 1, 2, 3 reasons why it can happen, and you get it done.
Start. Wow.
And you get it done. So basically, I can give my response in those two.
You have many reasons not to do it, but the few reasons that you have are enough for you to do it.
Yeah. You just need a few 1, 2, 3 calculated reasons why you can actually achieve something, why something can work, and work tooth and nail to get it done.
So, someone refused to start an airport with an assured 2-weekly deal,
Okay, it wasn't an airport, an airline.
An airline.
Yes.
Now, Brandon Luswata, why didn't you just start that one?
That was easy, man. No, at the end of the day, this person had just was sharing with me. So I actually challenged him and I said, hey, why didn't we do this?
No, why didn't you tell me there and then?
No, yeah, I asked him, why didn't we do this? Can't you do this? He still had about 70 other reasons why.
Even after the first call,
he still had about 70 reasons.
Details.
Yeah, and he sincerely showed me that the devil is in the details.
Yeah. Now we would.
Now I'd have an airline probably tied to my name, but I didn't want to pry, get
Is
the contacts and everything. He's still around. He actually, I think, stationed in Juba.
No, the millionaire.
The billionaire? I don't know.
We can make some research.
We shall make a research.
If you see this recording, we are looking for you. We'll be able to answer all your questions. We have a flight engineer.
If he sees this recording, then trust me, I'm ready to start the airline. I'm ready to start an airline.
We'll even give you a discount.
and actually, Mercy, yes, for sure. I intend to start an airline.
So
I am hoping that client is watching this podcast so that at that particular time X, I can look out for him.
But don't worry, just start. You have me and my husband. We like vacations.
Masape.
Every 3 months. Every 3 months.
Every 3 months.
Yeah.
So we're in Feb. So when was the last one?
It was in December. Yes.
And so we expect the next one.
You know it was. We didn't have an airline. No, when we have it.
There are very many airlines at Entebbe. You could have taken one of them.
And we have to move from Bar to Entebbe.
Okay, all right. I see where you're going, and yes. I see that gap. But one day in the future, put a note on that one.
That's why I know that your airline is going to be in Bar.
Indeed, yeah.
Now, that was a very insightful answer, even to me, because many of us just write vague wishes. Actually, I think we write dreams. More like you sleep, have a dream, wake up and say, building a house. And you're not really planning when to build the house, how, even though we study these things in class, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you teach us those things of SMART goals, or we studied them at campus?
Probably, I taught you so many things. I taught you so many things, so I can't really tell what I taught you and what I didn't. I could have even taught you some biology, and now you're a doctor, maybe some medicine in there.
Tell our audience, the only thing I will never stop hearing till in this life, this man who happens to be my brother-in-law always reminds me that I had to ask for permission to go to ease myself because he was the teacher. Like Kamasi would come and be like, please teacher, may I go out? Let it be known I didn't even study economics, but I think my friends on my behalf were asking for permission. But
you applied economics in your life and even in your doctorhood.
But I didn't ask for permission to ease myself.
Let's not get in the details, but overall...
Shout out to Martha and Shivan who did.
Yeah, and they're now prominent people. Oh my God, my children. I've spent long without, reaching out
without
to them. Without
realizing how important you were in our lives.
Yeah.
In our lives. So now, in your journey, because I know you've had an interesting journey, yeah? What helped you to say now, you know what? This has always been a dream. It is time for it to be a reality. Because I know you were a teacher. Was the dream already in motion while you were a teacher? Or did you one day be on the blackboard and be like, no, I can't eat chalk anymore. I want to eat airplane oil or something.
But just so you know, Isaac Newton, we don't want to say he discovered the laws of motion and everything, but the laws of motion were already in life, were already happening. But there's this phenomenal moment that people always say that when he was walking home and he saw an apple fall from the tree, and then his laws of motion began to take motion. No, I wasn't there, and then the chalk dropped and I'm like, wait, I can now be part pilot or whatever. No. Well, this is going to be a long one, but I'll try and be brief. While growing up, I think I had a natural selection for aviation toys and things like that. But I didn't know exactly what I wanted.
Aviation means things of aeroplanes.
Thank you for that clarity, Mercy.
There are some people went to some school that need help. But
I can't even mention it here because those people have come to be accepted in society and everything. So I can't mention it. And for the sake of our views and viewership.
Aviation.
Okay. So now, although I'd like to greet one particular person in school.
The school I was talking about is different from the one you've understood. But
let's not mention schools here because I think many people would be attacked. Let me forgive that person I was going to shout at to. Maybe next time. But anyway, so when it came to around S4, that's when I realized that I think I want to be a pilot. I want to do aviation. I want to be a pilot, actually. Because the only thing I knew existed in aviation was piloting. So I decided I wanted to be a pilot. And I was one time in the library of one of the most prominent schools in the world. And I managed to land onto a magazine. There used to be Nat Geographic magazines. And I landed in a magazine that was showcasing an air show in Oshkosh, I think Canada or somewhere in the US. And there were all these fascinating planes and fascinating pictures. And I was like, my God, how did I land on this? Like, this is meant for me. Everything was just lining up. I'm like, wow. So there were dozens of pictures of planes and their speeds and how they operate and things like that. And right then I said I needed to do piloting. But of course, I shared with my mom. Come A-level, I did MEG, Math, Economics, and Geography, and then French.
So someone who is doing MEG can actually do aviation things?
Yes, you can do aviation.
What about BCM?
Oh, yeah, you have mathematics.
You need math.
You need math, you need a bit of physics. Yeah, maybe that.
Okay.
So yeah, when it came to A-level, that's when I decided to work towards my goal. However, for you to note, in my mind, I wanted to be a pilot, but the books were not booking.
Oh.
The mathematics that I just said you need was not mathing.
After telling us to do a lot of calculations.
That math was not adding. I actually recently met my former teacher, Amtire. Actually, a few days back, I met him and I had to park on the side and I said, Mr. Amtire, I cannot greet you even while I'm in the car. Do you remember those F9s you used to give me? Right now, mathematics, I eat mathematics for breakfast and I enjoy it and I love it and I do it with my might. And of course, he remembered me and he could recollect all those moments and things like that. And he was happy about it. And I was also happy about it, even up to today. So yeah, A-level is when I decided to do piloting. But of course, just like the books were not, the mathematics didn't want to know that I want to do a pilot. I couldn't understand. I've told you I want to do piloting, but the mathematics has refused.
Has just said we don't want to hear.
Said we are not yet there. So
we are not working hard enough. This is what you used to tell us. You should have told us these things in A-level.
But you guys were working hard, so I already. But anyway, yeah. So come after campus. I made a deal with my mom and I told her I wanted to do piloting. So there was this scholarship that the French embassy had through Alliance Francaise. And you do education for 3 years at one of the universities in Kampala. And after that, I told my mom, if I work hard and I get this scholarship, then you can have three years to look for the money. And I do piloting. Just like any parent, you just say yes. Just to keep the kid quiet. These are African parents, you know. All they want to do is just take you through school, done, and you sort yourself after, you know. So you can't tell an African parent, I want to dream of being a teacher, or I want to dream of being a pilot. And some unfortunate African parents, not that they're unfortunate, but for them they would feel akanakagwe with their kids who say, I dream of being a musician. It's like, no.
They go to church and say,
it's not
it.
It's a leopard. But anyway, so when I finished campus, here I was out of campus. Even before I went home, I was ecstatic about this whole piloting. I've held up my end of the deal. 3 years, let's go. I reach home and my parents are telling me, we know you want to be a pilot, but
We didn't mean
the
what we
money
said.
is not money. The finances are not financing. There was still Bruce down there. There was Benson down there. Then my parents were building at the time. I honestly did not, break myself over it or break them over it. I went back to the drawing board. I went back to the drawing board and I told myself, okay, now if I can start a business right now, if I start a business right now, I just need to get the right business and I can make it. I'd saved 1 million shillings throughout my campus through allowances, and I'd done some politics. I was the chairperson Games Union. So I had saved some of my allowances. And
You said, okay.
yeah.
Campusers, we hope you're picking leaves.
So I'd saved 1 million.
Wow.
And I'd
1 million of which year?
1 million of 2014, between 2010 to 2014.
Oh, that was quite a lot of money.
Yeah, but of course I had also saved up something and bought a small plot with a friend of mine.
Wow.
Very little money, literally. But anyway, so my task was to convert that 1 million. For the aviators who are watching this, I cannot tell you that we are converting. The mathematics has to convert 1 million. If you know how much aviation costs, for those who don't know aviation is a very expensive endeavor. The cost that I was looking at was about 7 million. The actual piloting cost is you'll spend up to about 200 million, between 120 million to 200 million to actually be.
Shillings.
Yes, Ugandan shillings. So the goal was to convert 1 million Uganda shillings into 7 million and then into 120 and 200 million.
You started a business with one feather.
I started piloting with what? What can I say? I started piloting with an idea. I started piloting with a mindset. So now I have 1 million. It's now 2014, about July, and I have to convert that money by December because I really wanted to do this course. There was a flight dispatch course which was costing about 7 million. Because as soon as I finished my last paper, the following week I went to a flying school in Jinja, Vine Air, and the proprietor of that school was very generous that he even took me around in one of the planes, and I was a prospective student because I was serious. He knew that 100 million is coming. So, but here I was, my mom hadn't yet fully made it open that she's not going to fund. So I knew, I'm telling him, yeah, I'm promising, but he slotted in a clause that instructor, and he said, if you don't have the money, you can look at doing this course, flight operations officer. This course is more or less what pilots do. It's the exact same content. The only difference is that you will not touch the controls. You will not do this. I said, okay. So if I can do this, I can get a job and work harder and get the money. Yeah. So just like children have faith. Your dreams have to have a child's faith. You have to have a child's faith. I mean, there's someone out there. Here we are looking at this guy who has 1 million shillings and he wants to convert it to 7 million and then convert the 7 million into 120,
and
200
this
million.
is someone fresh from campus.
This is someone fresh from campus. And don't forget, the one thing I love God for having put in me, he blinded me from the details. Because if at that point I didn't know that actually I'll need 200 million. I thought I needed 50 million and I felt that was workable. But if I had known I needed about 200 million, I don't think I would be where I am. So it's important for you to get the 1, 2, 3 steps that can get you going. There's someone out there that probably is in a better situation than me, literally. There's someone out there who has some resources, but they're still holding themselves back. And resources, I don't mean money. Resources, I mean information. Resources, I mean placing. This is me who wanted to do this course. I am from Barra, and I literally haven't visited any single flying school except that one. But anyway, fast forward, I go to the drawing, but I said, okay, how do I convert this 1 million into that, a rolling stone? I went around Mbara, I decided to look around to do research on which businesses to start. I did assessment on what do they call it? A store for produce. I went did some farming background and everything. I went and did a poultry research, and the numbers in poultry were looking good. I said, "Wow, poultry is lucrative. It can get me where I'm going." This is now 2014, around June. I said, "Okay." So I went to a cousin of mine who had poultry. I checked out her farm. It looked good. Things were looking good, and just like even her, she is one that has a child's faith, because you're going to tell a child to jump from this table to there, and the child will do it. So your dream has to have that kind of mindset to a certain extent. So she did the numbers for me, and I said, "Wow, I can pass." But I had 1 million shillings, and the bare minimum she told me that you need is to start with 100 chicken. And of course, I went to a friend of mine, Aaron, right from campus, and he had some little money, and I told him, we can do this business, we can make this kind of money. He's like, I trust you. I know you not give me. He gave me 1 million, so I had 2 million shillings. But now I had to go back to the drawing board, because now I have to split the profits midway. So prolonging my plan to around February 2015, I expect that I should be going to a flying school.
So all along you are working towards achieving a specific dream.
Exactly. So I was working towards, I had done the numbers, and I knew I needed about 7 million. If I can the numbers were giving me about 7 million by December, and then I go, and the business continues in my absentia, and then eventually we shall get to the 100 one way or another. So we start the business, and after the first batch goes, the money is looking good. Okay, looking good. The second month goes, and the third month, around the third month, I was doing the business at my father's home and my parents' home in Roharo. So the chicken house was built along a wall fence, and the wall fence had pipes. So the neighbor, the other side, was not maintaining the drainage system and everything. So one day it rained heavily, and all the water gushed into the poultry farm, and the chicken flooded and everything. Oh my God, it was terrible. It was in the dead of night. And of course, I was staying at home with my parents only and them. So we ferried all the chickens in the house, 200. I had 200. Actually, I had even bought some more. I had about 300 chicken. We carried all of them, put them inside the living room, the corridor, all chickens, all over. Funny enough, I only lost one chicken.
Wow.
God was great. But
many of us who have sort of, let's maybe not say done research, but sort of peeped into the poetry, were told that even just like a small thing will kill all of them. So
that's what I'm telling you. I couldn't believe it. When I started the poultry chicken, when I started the poultry farm, someone told me, and this was the norm that was out there among the farmers. We used to laugh about it. Poultry is the one business that can make you rich very fast, but can also make you poor very faster, or even faster probably. So I knew that in mind even before I started, because when my cousin told me, she said, "Poultry, you can be rich very fast." I said, "But what is it? Can't I do this?" I did literally everything on book I had done. So anyway, fast forward, the chickens are flooded. But 2 weeks before that event, I'd gone to my parents' house. They were constructing. It was a storage, and it was empty with no rooms, no windows, no doors, no whatnot, no floor. And because my plan heavily hinged on expansion, because 200 birds were not going to multiply into giving me profits worth 7 million in the shortest time. So I just looked at it, but I needed a feasibility study. I needed to set up literally. But I had looked at it 2 weeks ago. So that night, when my parents were sitting in the sitting room, in the dining, and the chicken, we all come for a meeting.
with the chicken in the living room.
Yes, with the chicken in the living room, in the dining, under the tables. We all sitting.
200 birds in the same.
There were 300.
Wow.
300 birds, and none of them had died even at that point. It's still raining heavily. So my dad and my mom, they asked me, "Now, Brandon, what are we going to do? No, actually, they asked me, what are you going to do? Because I don't think any parent is ready to have chicken. Me, in actual fact, actually, I was telling myself, somewhere, something told me in my heart is like, wait, but the chicken can stay here one more day. But
Inside the house.
yes, because I had two options. One, the flooded place, quickly revamp it, but there's no guarantee that it won't flood again. The second option was going down to that unfinished house that I had seen 2 weeks ago. It was literally unlivable. So, sit down with my parents. So, my parents, as if put a gap between me and my chickens, and they ask us, so, what are you going to do?
What is the plan this morning?
So I look at myself. It wasn't even in the morning. Yeah, okay, it was in the dead of night morning. So I look at myself and my chickens and I say, okay, we're going down to the site. And my mama is like, what? I said, yeah, we're going down to the site. I already looked at that place 2 weeks ago. I just need to get iron sheets. In all that, they didn't think that I was also planning to go and stay there. We had a very comfortable home, very warm, very livable. Honestly, you can get lost in the comfort in there. But I told them I'm going to the site with the chicken. And then, of course, that one hour. Yeah, why are you doing this? I said, but you guys, think about it. This place is likely to flood. And I have room to expand down on the site. I'm not going to bother anyone. I laid down for them. They thought I was joking because, I mean, who is going to live there? So we had a dog, a very loyal dog called Rentin. So I took the dog. It was my only guard. It was
your possession with the chicken.
Yes, it was my first. Actually, that dog was my first employee, and the only thing it was lacking was an ID, a company ID, and everything. My company was called Chicken for Now. Chicken for Now, and I still have that company. I want to start something later. So the company is called Chicken for Now. With my one employee, we go down to the site that I would tie at the entrance of the door. So of course there were.
You were not scared it could use the chickens for supper.
No, it had a chain. It had a chain, and I had trained it. It would not eat the chicken, but it was. So I tied it in this flat. It had 4 apartments. So in this flat, I took over the topmost flat in the corner, and it was at the entrance. Now, because I didn't even have money to buy things to block the door, the only hope I had was there were like 2 iron sheets the first night. Said, should I put the iron sheets on the door and block it? But that will not be effective because it's not big enough to. So I said, you know what? Because if I lay the iron sheet before the door, and you know how noisy an iron sheet can be. Even if you're a thief, there's no thief that can tiptoe on an iron sheet and it doesn't make noise or move it literally. So in my wisdom, I felt it's better to lay the iron sheet in front of the door, the dog first, then the iron sheet in front of the door.
So if the thief bypasses the dog, they will step on the iron sheet and the dog will hear.
Not the dog, I will hear because they have now gone past the dog.
Okay.
So the iron sheet was for me to hear. No, I was inside the apartment with no doors and everything. So
you were going to stay with the chicken?
Yes,
in the same house?
There were 2-bedroomed apartments. So I was going to stay in that apartment. The chicken was going to stay in 1 bedroom. I was going to stay in the unfinished kitchen. I was going to stay in the unfinished kitchen. So the idea was for me to also be a part of the security. We were part-timing, me and the dog. But it was very effective.
No, guys, people who are watching. Are you even ready?
Are they ready to achieve their resolutions, their dreams?
Oh, even the one asking is asking herself, am I ready? Because as a generation, I think we just like comfort.
Actually, as a generation, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult because there's some dreams out there that need you to be different. They need you to be different.
Be aggressive.
They need you to be aggressive. And that will bring me to the second part of the answer. But anyway, fast forward, let me wrap this up. So, of course, with my dog and everything, and of course, when you're sleeping, you don't sleep with your ear at the pillow. You make sure you sleep with space, because if you sleep with the ear, that means you have deafened one ear because it's against the pillow. So you make sure you sleep at an angle whereby your ear, there's space between the ear and the pillow, because your ears when you'd hear the birds at 6 a.m., at 5:30 a.m., you're like, thank you, Jesus. At least 5:30, we can stretch it. The night has ended. So that went on.
So you're sleeping in a house without that door?
Without doors, yes.
And one room of the same house has chicken?
Yes.
The outside there is a dog?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I actually have pictures of those places. Maybe if you're, I'll probably show you some. But anyway, so fast forward, I go through, I have this room to expand. I have these rooms to expand. So I have just entered an unfinished apartment with 4 apartments. Each apartment had 2 bedrooms and a kitchen and a bathroom. Of course, that are all unfinished, just concrete work. So that was room for me to expand. And now we go back to the drawing board. Okay, where has this set us back? We go back planning. I'm like, okay, from June, now I'm looking at December 2015. All right, back to the drawing board. Now, in January 2015, that's when we were supposed to graduate. We graduate, and mom is on my case, get a job. But I say, I don't need a job because I'm planning to go to flying school. Now if I get a job, she couldn't take no for an answer. My mom too was extremely ambitious. So I go around looking for a job. And of course, even me, as I'm looking for a job, I say I'm not going to take no for an answer. And God blessed me to get a job at Maryhill. I got a job as an economics teacher and a French teacher at Maryhill for, of course, they gave me a contract, but they told me that as we wait for a government plus teacher, you're going to be fitting in. And when the government plus teacher comes in, then you can. So I got a job. It was giving me about 600,000. 600,000 was good money in Mbarara. Good money in Mbarara. I'm not paying rent. Oh, so my plan had just started lighting up.
So just so we understand, are you still sleeping with the chicken while you're teaching at Maryhill? Because we need to know.
No. I'm not still sleeping with the chickens, but mark this. I am ready to still sleep with the chickens if it requires me to. If I have a goal, and which definitely I know. Okay, well, currently right now, I'm not sleeping with the chickens per se, but I am sleeping with the chickens.
In a way.
In a way, because there are some dreams that are going to require you to sleep with the chickens. There are some dreams.
We just made a quote. There are some dreams that require you to sleep with the chickens.
Yeah,
Wow.
and you know what's funny? I would get orders like 200 chickens slaughtered today. Then, of course, now my business had grown. On top of renting my dog, I had to add another employee because now Maryhill has come. I have a job. I have to be showing up.
You are in an economics class.
No one wants to know.
And they see a favor in the corner.
Now there's a time I got off a border. I was in a hurry. I just woke up early around 6, slaughtered chicken, and I had a lesson. So I reached school, and the border guy, as I'm paying the border guy, as I'm going, I see in the border side mirror, I see a blood something on my neck. It was so bad. So you had to get a hanky and then clean. Like, mark you, I didn't have mirrors or whatnot. I would take my clothes probably like once in 4 days for all ironing and everything because I didn't have power. So then bring them and hang them in my place because I didn't have power. And of course, there were still no windows and everything. That whole year, 2015, was a year when I lived in a place with no power, with no doors, with no whatnot. But things started, of course, improving because it was a house they were constructing and they were improving it. So maybe I got power towards the end of the year. So anyway, now you go to school and teach and life went on. But no one at school knew the kind of situation I was living in. And thank God for the meals. I didn't have to suffer that much. You eat meals. And then some teachers are leaving the staff room and they say, but Brandon, it's time. There's no lesson here. They don't know that I'm actually waiting for evening tea. Evening tea, and I go home because, oh my God, it was crazy. Now, remember, we're still saving money to go. So 2015, fast forward, it went on. And of course, as much as my dream was the aviation school, I had to appreciate where I am. I had to make sure that every little thing that I do in those moments was mattering. As much as you're doing chicken, make sure that you're selling chicken at the very best price you can sell. And you're actually running a business. You're actually running a business. You're not doing it vis-a-vis. You glance once where you're going and come back to reality. You glance once where you're going and come back to reality. Very many people would want to sell and then maybe get a hurdle here and they're done with it because they thought of the dream and it was all lovey-dovey and everything, but this is not what they signed up for. No, you keep glancing once, come back to reality and make your reality work for the dream that you're aiming at. Now, the chickens and everything was just so gray. But I would do research about my chickens, see how to improve them. And then my heart went to crop husbandry. I was once looking on YouTube and everything. I used to run to Lakeview because I didn't have power. I'd go to Lakeview for the Wi-Fi and my laptop, then come back like at 9, 10, I go on YouTube. So I stumbled onto videos about agriculture, about farming, crop husbandry now. And I looked at the investment that you need to put in crop husbandry and then the returns. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. So I said, okay, let me start vegetable farming. I talked to a few neighbors who had space that we're not using. I planted cabbages. A cabbage was 500 shillings. And the space I had could accommodate about 4,000, 5,000 cabbages. And the total amount I needed to put in was not more than even 300,000. So I said, wait. So if I do the math, 2,500 cabbages or 3,000 cabbages multiplied by 500 shillings, I could make money and whatnot. So off I go. We start farming. It was hard work. And at the time, I was also playing rugby and coaching certain schools in rugby, some schools in rugby. I started a rugby club during that time. So I had to part-time all those things, but those were not part of the dream anyway. So I was looking at all these things getting me the money faster. And of course, everything I had planned did not happen as I thought would happen. The money wasn't coming in as much. I remember a cabbage I had planned to sell at 500 shillings. I went to supply a certain school and someone wanted to give me about 100 or 200 shillings. Oh, it was devastating. Fast forward, I reached a point where I said, okay, I have to sell everything off and go and study that course.
Like, had you gotten all the money, or you realized you can just sell it and get enough money to just go?
Now this is the part where you have to skip where you have to avoid the devil in the details. Now, I did all that work until 2018. 2018, I said, no, I have to go. Actually, with encouragement from my now wife. Because everyone around me, knew that I wanted to do aviation. I remember from one time I was coming from one of the rugby tournaments that I had been participating in, and we were squeezed. You know how they squeeze people? We had gone to, I think, Ishaka to play rugby, and we had squeezed in it. You know how they squeeze those people in taxis, those small cars, squeezed there. So I was telling a friend of mine, so what do you do? What are you doing? What do you want to do? I told him, I want to do piloting. He turned and looked at me, looked at the situation we're in. It just wasn't making sense. It wasn't making sense. It's only years later that he came and told me, he's like, man, you told me that? And I just couldn't believe it. But now you have gone through it. So everyone around me from the time I decided I want to do aviation, knew I wanted to do aviation. So that is also my now wife. When I met her at Chambogo, we were very close friends. She got to know that I wanted to do aviation. So every time she would...
Does someone need to go to Chambogo or just need to be friends at campus?
This is also another important thing. Align yourself with people that can appreciate where you want to go.
Yeah, including the women you want to marry. Including
the women you want to marry. Well, yeah, you won't know then. That's also another chapter. I think you need to hold a podcast on... because the female species is not something you can understand in one podcast. If you add it on to the problems of your dreams, you might actually dream forever. But anyway, the right people around you will always encourage you. So I think for me, she was the right person to encourage me, because for all the years through 2015 to 2018, she used to ask me, so are you going this year? And you know, you women, how you can be persistent. So is it this year? No, I need to make this amount of money. So is it this year? Until 2018, she's like, but Brandon, are you sure it's not this year? So I decided to drop everything. That course at the time was not being offered anywhere in Uganda. Some schools had gone on break, and others were like, okay, you can be doing here while we certify the course. But this very persistent wife of mine is like, man, you have waited all these years to do this course and you want to just gamble at it? Go on and get the best of the best. And I decided to get a bus. I didn't even know where I was going. I just went online, best schools in this course, Nairobi, it went there. Got a bus. Are these the buses that go to Nairobi? Yes. I didn't even know how long it takes from here to Nairobi in a bus. I sat in a bus and went to Nairobi and checked out East African School of Aviation, and they offered the course at a much cheaper price. It was now 5 million, but of course minus accommodation and food. 5 million. I said, okay, all I need is 5 million. You mean I've been busting myself over for 5 million? But in there, I got ambitions. So I would keep expanding on my farm and everything. So I said, 2018, that is it. I came back, sold everything I had set up. I sold my drip line. I sold all the stock and everything, and got the money to go.
And decided to
go. And it wasn't enough for the whole. I couldn't project it happening for the whole season, but it was just enough to say, man, go and start. This is lucrative. You will get. This is part of what you want to do. And you don't see yourself doing anything else. And that is how I ended up going to Nairobi. I did the course. But when I did that course, I realized one thing. I needed to have struggled the way I struggled to get there. Because I was not any other kind of dispatcher while I was doing the course. While I was at that school, I was always top of my class. Not because I was wise, not because I was sharp. Because when I was at Intare, books were not booking. If you'd seen the book, you'd not say those are books of a pilot. Anyway, so back this side, the effort you put in, because more important than the dream is the journey towards the dream.
Oh, it positions you, but also gives you this is what I've been looking for.
Yes.
And I can't afford to mess up on this.
The journey sets you apart from everyone else you're with at that point.
So the process makes you.
The process is important. Is as equally important as the dream, if not more important than
the dream.
If not, it is more important. I can assure you. And this is for many of you. Some of you are going to set out chasing certain dreams. You might never do those dreams. Or towards those dreams, you're going to realize that there are actually bigger things to dream of. And it was important for you to start the struggle of the dreaming because you never have realized what you can be. So as part of the journey, the process was more important. It has made me who I am, and it sets me apart from my workplace, sets me apart it set me apart at my school. And even when I did internship in one of the companies in Nairobi, it set me apart. It was during COVID, but as much as they laid off very many people, and they were not employing very many Ugandans. Actually, they were not employing foreigners at all in that company, or more say Ugandans, let's say, because Kenya has a more advanced aviation industry. So it set me apart. I was given opportunities to do certain things that many of my colleagues could have done, but they did not have the journey or the process that I went through.
The grit.
You understand your own journey. You understand where you came from. And that story or that understanding is yours alone. And for you to get it, you must start.
You must start.
Sorry, back to your question where you said when to start. Now, sorry, let me answer it now. The time when I decided to leap off and go to Nairobi, I didn't even have that much because, of course, I had invested, I had bought some items and things like that. I just had enough for one semester. I just had enough for one semester, and I said, you know what? Let me go. Let me go with a few help. And of course, once you start, my mom couldn't let me starve. She came into my rescue. I had a small plot that I had bought while at campus, and I sold that. I levied that. And eventually, that is what got me through school.
School, wow.
Yeah.
So, wow, insightful. Very. Those motivational stories, they used to tell you that they started a business with one shoe.
This is more like it.
No, when we hear from people we don't know, as a generation, we take very few things seriously. So we tend to be like, motivational speakers. But when you hear a story like this one, you reflect upon yourself and say, okay, you have wanted, maybe you did education and you wanted to do civil engineering. And for the last 4 years, you've been saying, okay, one day I'll go to engineering school. One day I'll go to medicine school. That thing to say, you know what, I'm going to work to this. Many of us don't work towards dreams. We work and hope that dreams will fall into
Dreams
play.
will find you,
Yes.
Yeah, well, this is what I would advise there are those who come out and they say they don't know what they want to do, the dreams and everything. Start with whatever that you have around you. You might be at campus doing journalism and mass comm, and it's not what you wanted to do. You wanted to do medicine. No. Journalism and mass comm is part of the process. You're there and you wanted to do medicine, and currently you're doing procurement, or let it be even, what is there a course that sells grass at campus?
Grass selling course.
Even if it's a grass selling course at campus and that's what you're doing, but you wanted to do something else. No, that's part of the process.
That's part of the process.
Do it. Excel at it. It is part of the process. That is what is supposed
to send you.
Mark my words, supposed. Not that you're gliding through. No. It is what is supposed to get you there. That's what many young people forget. You're doing something currently, or just this goes back to the dreams the resolutions and things that we're talking about. You're currently doing something now, but in 2 years you want to do something else. But you're literally just letting the time pass by as you're doing this. Yeah.
That's what most of the time happens. You just think that for some miraculous way, in 2 years' time, everything will align and you'll just go.
No.
But that thing that made you decide to sleep in the same house with chickens, at that in your prime years, people are just seeing fresh, you're just from campus. You're meeting your friends and they're saying, man, where do you stay now? Can I come and visit?
Let me tell you.
Yeah, you can come and visit, but my parents don't like.
Do you know the first time I actually stayed, after I had stayed in that place, of course I was sleeping on the ground and everything. The first time I slept in a bed in like 4 months, I think I had gone for graduation and I stayed at a friend's place and I slept in his bed. He had gone, I think, maybe for a trip or something. My God, I said, what am I doing? I asked myself, what am I doing?
You're like, I have beds at home I could go to now.
Like, it was so warm. You take things for granted, let me tell you people. But when you get away from a bed for some few months, like 4, I slept in a bed, I said, wait. Jesus, I couldn't be.
I missed this.
Yeah. And of course, now this is the beauty of it. With all that I went through, I had it in the mind. It was registered in the mind that I can get down and do what I have to do to get back up. So when I went back to Kenya and everything, and I was saving now to do my first piloting course, I needed the money. So I used to sleep down on the floor, and it was normal. But people that I was higher than in the company and everything would be shocked. Actually, I never made. They would have been shocked if they had seen where I sleep.
So the people that are earning less than you are spending it on furnishing the house?
No, for them they didn't think they were spending. They were necessities.
Oh my God.
For me, you see when you get in the race with someone who has gone through the process to get where they are, that race is different. For them, they couldn't even realize that it was a necessity.
They couldn't realize that they could live without these things.
Hey, there are some people who can't live without these things because of what they need to. I mean, if you have a dream so bad and you want to get to it, there are certain things that are going to shed off you and they'll cease to be a necessity. But depending on the kind of dream, how big or how oversized, let me put it this way, how oversized the dream is for you, then it will determine what your necessity is. I cannot judge those people and say, this is not a necessity. No, it was a necessity, but whatever dreams they had were not too big that could bring down that would compromise the need for comfort.
Or they probably had other sources.
Or they had better sources then. But
perhaps there was someone in the same situation.
Perhaps there are people in worse situations.
But they're like,
But they didn't have the privilege of the process. I had the privilege of the process. And indeed, the next time I actually owned a bed was when I was getting married.
Wow.
I know this clip will get me somewhere and it will bite me, but I'm not shy to say it. Well, I'm shy when they actually show it somewhere at work and I find it. But the next time I actually owned a bed was when I got married.
Yeah, not because you couldn't.
Yes, not because I couldn't afford it, but I was stuck in the chest, in the dream. It was so much that, hey, necessity comes. What is actually necessary is this dream. All these other things aside from me, on my side, are not that important.
You know, the last episode of 2025 was about the pressure to look perfect. And we were talking a lot about how people buy cars because their friends are buying cars. How we didn't even know a bed was part of the conversation.
No, my.
No, I get, but it's opening my eyes to the fact that as a generation, we think that we are thinking in cars and sleeping in a more expensive house.
Yeah.
But that you can dream a dream so big that it's not a big thing to sleep on the floor. And this is even worse when it comes to a married couple, because especially my gender, you want to take the office in your house, and maybe your husband is like, you know what, we have 2 bedrooms, but for now we can afford maybe a living room and a bedroom. Let's go into a smaller space.
But social media doesn't even forgive you. You see, like when it has rained heavily, you normally see those status updates of, okay, you go and drive your plot. Drive your plot to work. Social media is unforgiving.
But that, you see, even that's a meme. But if you take it personal, if it hits the right place, it will hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
If for you, oh well. But if you always wanted a car vis-a-vis a plot, or you bought a plot when you could have bought a car, it will hurt. But that place again where your dream is actually bigger than what is going on now. Even me, I need to watch this thing again because wow.
While growing, actually while at campus, there's this song that I used to fear, a gospel song. Bring me to my knees where your love poured out. You know that song? Rid me of myself, I belong to you. Lead me. Now, there's a time I used to sing it. And then later on, even after campus, when I was going through these hardships, I feared that song because it was saying, bring me to my knees. Do you know what you're actually singing for? Do you know what you're actually asked to bring you to your knees? Mercy, if I told you to kneel down here, you'd be like, how will they see me? My viewers, what? But if someone has to bring you to kneel down here in front of your views, that means they probably had a gun on you. So you're singing, bring me to my knees. And I said, is it because of the things I used to sing? While I was, hustling, I was like, is it because of the things I used to sing? So from that time, I started fearing that song. And I was careful about, because as much as, of course, my eyes were set on the dream, there are times when you'd ask yourself, but what am I doing?
I actually had wanted to ask you that question at a certain point, that place where you feel like nae mfati, like you can live a happy life being like everyone else. You're already better than many at this point.
Let me tell you one thing. Your dream is not only up to you. There is a country that is depending on you accomplishing your dream. There is a country out there, sorry, not even a country out there. Uganda needs you to fulfill your dream. It's not just about you. Stop being selfish.
Wow.
That I have to. At the end of the day, it's not an option. No, it's a necessity.
That's why you're the necessary. Only one who is feeling it the way you're
feeling it. It is necessary that you accomplish your dream. You actually have no idea, but it is a necessity. It is not impossible. No, it's necessary. Mark, these are two different words. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it is necessary. So it is necessary for you to accomplish your dream, because right now, when I went through what I went through, I have encouraged a few other people to do what I have done. There are very many people that have actually opened their eyes to aviation around me because of what I did. And just like that, eventually, enough of you, and a country can change. A region can change.
Yeah.
And things like that. So if I know, yes, you're going to say Yemfachi, but that dream is not there for only you. And this is now to the people that are very happy in their apartments, and they're okay. They're just okay by just leaving the status quo. Don't forget where you came from.
And where you wanted.
And where you wanted. I like what you've said. Wanted to go. Because somehow you're dead in life. There's, on top of anything, fear death in life, whereby you no longer have the fire. You no longer have you're just comfortable with your 2-bedroomed apartment. You drive your small car and everything is okay as it is, and it should remain as it is for the rest of time. Yes, my kids are going to grow. I take them to school. You're okay by just living life.
You're just a statistic in the country.
You're a statistic in the country, and you're going to sit back and talk about a little politics here and there and seem smart and go to Cafe Javas and the likes. But you have to remember where you came from. You will find by chance you'll find those people, the lives they lived earlier were far worse off. They came from very tough hardships, but they have forgotten that they endured those hardships. Their lights are going to go down. And
I remember a friend of mine who was, as soon as I left, actually before I left medical school, and we're having a conversation about jobs, and he tells me, see, the worst thing is to get a job and get comfortable. So he leaves school and then he gets a job in a PNFP. It's called private non-for-profit. So they are giving him a house, they are giving him food, they are giving him a decent salary. And before he realizes it, he does not own a bed, he does not own a plot, he has nothing to his name because he needs nothing.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't think about rent. Yeah. And then he wakes up, he's like, what am I doing? The money that they were giving him is just enough for him to live his lifestyle, go out with his friends. And it doesn't click that, wait, there is more to life. So I believe one of the biggest enemies to progress is comfort.
Comfort, yeah.
But I would like to ask you more or less a final question, which I think is really the gist of this conversation. Because from last month's episode, many people were asking, okay, we know these things, we write down these things, but how do we overcome the fear to start? How do we overcome the fear to say, you know what? My money could be burnt in this deal. Recently, I was handling a deal with someone in another country that I've never met. And then I was closing an eye and sending really big amounts of money and saying, I remember my husband saying, I have done transactions bigger than this. Hey. If you don't take the risk now.
They call it, actually, you know it, but they call it akasente kechikazi. That one, as you know, that kamane is hard
to leave your hand.
Hard to leave your hand.
But you see, he has done transactions with maybe people in Dubai, people in China, and you see him sending 10 million, and you just close your eye and say, God, whatever happens.
Just for curiosity, how much were you sending? Like 1 million?
No.
And you're like, I'm about to. And you got a stomach ache.
It wasn't 1 million, but it wasn't up to 10 million.
You see?
It was in between.
Akasete kechikazi is hard money.
It's just that I am, that thing of, I don't know you. I met you on internet. You could be a scam. Even after
you could be a scam.
Even after verifying what, I'm like, God, I'm getting burnt in this thing. But then he told me, if you don't do it, if you cannot risk this money, you will actually never achieve what you're looking for, because at the end of the day, you will just keep risking. So that place where you're like, okay, I have always wanted to start this business, but I could put in 10 million and not get anything. How do you overcome? But also, the bandebe bata. How do they see me, a graduate of procurement, starting a shoe business or carrying shoes in the market to sell or something? How do we in 2026, because myself and my viewers of this podcast, we are achieving big things this year. How do we overcome the fear to start? Like you woke up and said, you know what, I'm selling everything, or I am going to live in this house, or I am, how do you just say, this is it, what echiba chibe? Yeah.
Before downfall. Okay, I don't want to say downfall, but they always come before bad decisions. Ichiba chibe. You only live once. Come and buy.
What's the worst that can happen?
Those statements normally follow very serious decisions. But anyway, I'm not speaking into the decision. So first of all, they're going to be about three things. The first one, have your calculator. Something has to make sense on your calculator. You want to move into that house, you're like, no. And by the way, this is something you need to avoid. Avoid spontaneous decisions. Avoid spontaneous decisions. I know it can be a gut feeling and everything. You have to be in the art. There are these people who are very good gamblers. They will have good intuition, but that's not something you have naturally. It is something you grow into. It is like forex traders. They're going to be monitoring a trend and then instantly make that decision. You cannot just wake up one day and you say, after all, it's gambling. You make that decision and you hope that it will work. Yes, you could win, or you could win today, tomorrow you lose or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is that know where you are. It is your first time you're going to start this business. You cannot think you have an eye for business. You cannot think that you are a child. You have started. Before you start running, you have to crawl. Then you have to walk. Then you have to start running. But you have to understand that. You're not the wisest. You're not the most researcher or the biggest researcher out there and everything. So you have to have your calculator and go to people who have done this kind of thing and share with them. Then number 2, make a research. Make a research. That research is very, very important because it is going to help you picture what could happen and what to expect.
But sometimes research can be scary.
Yeah, like I said, the devil is in the details. I'm getting there. In that research, you've done your calculate. Because before you actually come to Dr. Mercy to ask her, how is it like to be a doctor? No, you have to have dreamt on it, slept on it, thought of it, before you actually open yourself out to objective criticism. Because the devil is in the details, and let me tell you, most people are negative. The human being is designed to be extremely negative. It's going to tell you no 7 times before he can actually tell you a yes. So if I come to you and I want to start something new that you haven't done, even when you have never done it, your first instinct is like, abantu tebakyazambala nnyo nga luli abantu bali bambala engatto naye now they don't wear them so much. Even if someone has done that, think about it. I'm sure as we speak massive now, you've probably advised someone before about a business you've never done in the negative sense, right? So, and 80% of the time, the first instinct is to be negative about something you have never done, even you that you have no risk about or knowledge about. So before you open yourself up to objective criticism, and not just to anyone, you have to have slept on it. You have to have foundations. So when you're going to open yourself up to research, you're testing your foundation. You're testing how strong it is, It's like how they build ships. They'll build ships and subject them to very vital environments, but in a small controlled environment. But it is not meant to stay there. They're now going to send it out to the harsh storms and everything. So you have culminated your idea, you've built it up, you've raised it, your idea in this small environment. Now take it out for testing. Now, when you speak to people who actually know what you're going to do, they're going to throw patches at it. They're going to throw, have you done this? But now the shoes you're saying, where will you sell them? But in Central Market, there are thousands of stores with shoes. Where will you sell your shoes? So now those are the answers you're supposed to be having or testing your idea against. Once you take it out to say,
to answer this?
Yes.
Do I have an answer to
can
this?
my business answer this? Can my business answer that? And you have to be so strong on, you must have built your idea so strong that you anticipate, because I'm sure you must have anticipated all that. Or if you haven't and it has been thrashed back, come back and ask yourself, okay, the 1,000 stores that are in Central Market, how does the 900th store do it? Does he make money? Why does he show up every day if he doesn't make money? Why has he had that store for 2 years? Is he just serving the public? How does he make it there every day? So your idea has to be able to answer those questions. And then thirdly, you have to believe in something. You have to believe in something. You can be a Muslim, whoever, but something has to fire you up. Something has to fire you up. And something is going to fire you up for so long as you have your eyes set on something and you want to do it. Something is going to fire you up. But you have to believe.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's the answer to that.
Wow. So guys, today I hosted my teacher. And
I love the sound of that. I love the sound of that.
I have few words. I now understand why you are my teacher. Because sometimes we can try to tiptoe so that we are the same height with some of the people that have gone ahead of us until we sit down and be like,
but
this person.
But look at you, Mercy Victor. Surely.
No.
We are.
Yes. But
I taught well.
You did. And you're still doing.
I'm humbled. Humbled.
This was very, very insightful. I know even you who has watched, you are very blessed. You have picked something. And it's been an honor and a privilege to have you. I'm going to request you, Mr. Brandon, to, in 1 second, give us your parting shots. That one thing that you would want the person who has just tuned in now and found us at this point to not miss.
Okay, 2 parting shots. Our first one is very irrelevant, but I'll explain. It will help me say the second one. The first one is, this common saying that they utter out there and say, the best time to have planted a tree was 5 years ago. And the next best time to plant a tree is now, right? Now, put a pause on that. The second thing that I want to say is age. Age is an asset, an extreme asset. If I knew what I knew right now, there are things I wish that I would have known when I was 20. And those things would have been told to me by 30-year-olds, by 35-year-olds, by 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds. Maybe they told me and they didn't listen well, but it's very important for you to listen out to people that are ahead of you in anything. And that's why I say the first one. I know there are some of you who feel like age has already left you and things like that. That's why I said the next best time is now. So this is not to cut out the wazeis and so on and so forth. No. It is for everyone, literally. Get someone ahead of you.
You're still the youngest today that you will ever be.
Exactly. This guy of McDonald's set up, I think, when he was around in the 50s or something. You find some very big, prominent people that actually cracked it in their late 50s, 60s, and their old age, So what I'm trying to say is that age is an asset. Now is an asset. Now is an extreme asset. And as much as I wish I knew what I knew when I was 20, I just need to action what I know now on the now.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have many parting shots, but I believe that should be it.
Thank you very much, teacher, pilot, Brandon Swata. It's been an honor and a privilege to have you. I really hope we can have a part 2 in the near future, when the airline is in Mbara or when you're flying around. You can jump core and land here, and then this has been really insightful. So those of you who have questions that you would want us to build upon in the next conversation, or who have experiences that you think can bless one person or another, please feel free to put them in the comment section. If they are private, you can inbox us, or reach out to us. If you would like to reach out to us in ways you don't see possible, just put it in the comment section and say, I would like to reach out. We'll find a way. We are here to help, and like we agreed, 2026 is our year. You, me, and everyone on this platform. December will be just reading testimonies. Businesses started, cars bought, wives wived. Yeah, so once again, thank you. And as usual, this is Creative Media. We are the ones hosting us. If you have a prospect of doing podcasts, or you have an upcoming wedding, kuhinjra, birthday, work shower, baby shower, bridal shower, anything, please, you have no excuse to have bad content. We are here for you. We are going to give you the best photography, videography, live stream. If you've always had a dream to start a podcast, this is the time. Now is the best time for you to reach out to us, and we are going to be able to give you the best experience. And as usual, we never leave here without giving you an opportunity to receive Jesus in your life as your Lord and Savior. Like you all know, this is a Christian podcast, and everything that we can say can only have its roots in Christ, because really, like Mr. Brandon said, you must have something that is driving you. And for us, that is Christ for you. So if you're there, please repeat these words after me. Say, Lord Jesus, I thank you for today. I thank you for my life, this moment. I receive you in my life as my Lord and my Savior. I am born again. Amen. Hallelujah. If you made that prayer, you're born again, please leave a comment for us to reach out to you. You are now a child of God, and we love you. We are proud of you. Once again, enjoy February. Happy Valentine's. Please make sure that you are sensible and reasonable in the next coming season. And like, share, subscribe. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.